Hi everyone. So I'm doing a live stream and no one's watching now, but I will have this recorded and put onto my channel so you guys will be able to see me chart. Okay, so let's pull up so that you guys can see my screen. And every Sunday I look at all the Forex pairs, mostly all of them. There are a few that are not on here. One that I don't have on here that's very, very popular is AUD USD. I just don't trade it. There's a couple of others on here that I don't trade either because just my broker doesn't have them. So this is what I trade here to the right side on the watch list. So what I do is that every Sunday I break down each and every single chart, and then I flag what seems interesting to me that might have a potential setup. I put my alerts and I wait for the week to play out and see where my entry signal is. Okay, so let's go to Euro USD. All right. Okay, so Euro USD. So every single time I start with a brand new clean chart, so I'm going to delete all these drawings. And I start from a weekly time frame. Okay. So I have to have a weekly bias and a daily bias that matches so that I can move forward and continue to chart. So on the weekly time frame, you can see that we have this consolidation. So you see that the EMA is like in the middle of the moving average. I use a 50 moving average, by the way. So on the moving average, you see that we flipped to the downside and we're definitely bearish. But with news and everything that happened last week, we flipped to the upside. So we're bullish now on the weekly. But we do need price to come back and retest these levels to even be interested in taking a trade. So there's too much of a gap for me on the weekly time frame. I need a very deep pullback in order for me to continue and take a trade on this. So on the daily, so we came over the EMA line, we came back, we didn't fully retest down here, and then we just continued. So I would need price to come back. So I'm not really a fan of how this chart looks right now. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to remove the flag from last week and I'm just going to continue. Oh, hi, Anthony. Welcome. I'm sorry. So this is like, of course, my first time going live. I hope I'm not lagging. Am I lagging? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me know. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so Euro USD, I'm not interested in Euro USD. I'm going to move on. Let's go to USD JPY. And the same thing, we're going to remove the flag and we're going to erase any drawings that we might have on here. Okay. So it loads. So since I'm live, it's kind of like lagging, going slow. Perfect. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, you see that we have gone below the moving average. We came back, retested these highs here, and we're back below the moving average. But this low didn't break this low, so I don't know if it's bearish, honestly. It looks like it. We broke over, we retested the EMA, and then we're going down. But as a fan, I would like for price to break below this. But for right now, weekly time frame is bearish. Let's move on. If this can speed up, okay. So daily time frame, you can see that price has gone over the EMA and has broke these previous lows, came all the way down, retested the moving average, and then came down, and then it did a pullback. So it looks nice. On the daily time frame, we could definitely see that we are bearish. Then we broke. We did some sort of retest here, and we broke. So we need price to come back and retest here so we can take another trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my daily area of interest that I do from this previous high to this last low here. I wouldn't count this low because price broke out. There's not really much structure there. So I would need price to come back into this. And we can make this even smaller. We can do this here. This would be a little bit aggressive. I would prefer this one. And let me measure that out because I don't really like it to be so big. But I have, oh, that's insane. Oh, no. That's insane. Let's do it here. This just might be a pair that we're not going to take a trade on. Okay, so this previous structure, this low, and this previous lower high. So that's our little, let's measure it. Okay, that is more suitable, and if you can see, it's just 241 pips. That may seem like a lot for USD JPY. It is honestly not a lot. It moves that very, very quickly. It can do that within a session. Okay, so let's move on to the next time frame. Okay, so we're at the 4 hour. So price has come out of the daily area of interest. So it came back down. It came up to retest that EMA and it dropped down. So we would need price to kind of pull back to this area right here so that we can take a trade. And we put a risk reward tool, and that is absolutely too big and insane. Yeah. So what I would like to see on this trade is for price to pull back into this daily area of interest, come out, come back in for a retest, and reject to the downside. That's what I would like to see. Oops. That's what I would like to see, right? So then we would do the tool, and we could normally, if the area of interest is not that big, we would put the stop loss above the area. But normally I like to also go over the EMA, and then we would put this at the previous daily target, which would be down here. This would be safer, and this would be a little bit greedy. But this could work. It's just not my favorite. I don't like the stop loss that big. It doesn't look very clean. But we will set alerts here and see what happens. I'm going to put it closer to this area of interest alert, and that's it. Okay, so let's continue. Let's move on. I'm going to flag it for right now. Okay, let's go to GBP NZD. Go ahead and remove all the drawings. Weekly time frame. Let's reset our chart here. Okay, so on the week going up, we're creating higher lows and higher highs. Price broke these previous highs and then came back to retest. So we have retested on the weekly time frame, so to the upside. Okay. So let's see what's happening here on the daily time frame. So price should have rejected here and gone back up, but it looks like it's kind of breaking these this structure point right here. So let's see. We have low, we have higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we broke here this low. So we can't call it bearish because we need price to give us a lower high for it to be bearish. So right now we have the lower low, but then we have the higher high. And then this previous low here. So let's see. I'm going to draw from my here and from the last low, my daily area of interest. So price broke through that. So for us to take it to the downside, we would have to see this to create structure, create a lower high, come out, retest, and reject to the downside in order for us to take it down. But on the weekly time frame, we're definitely bullish. So hopefully what happens is that we do one of these instead. That price comes back, does this, right? So we come out of the daily area of interest, we come back to retest, and we come out again. That's what we want to see for us to take it up. So I'm going to put an alert up here. And let me remove this one. We don't need this one. Okay. So honestly, not the best, but I'm going to keep the flag on it, and I'm going to move on to NZD USD. All right, so let's remove all drawings. I'm sorry. Okay. Weekly time frame. Okay, so as you can see, price was kind of moving in between the EMA and then it dropped. It broke these previous lows here. So we're definitely bearish. And then price came back up. It looks like it wanted to break structure, but it looks like it just might be retesting the EMA and retesting these previous lows to create a lower high and continue. So I'm calling this bearish. Unless it were to flip over the EMA, then we flip to the upside. But I'm calling this bearish for right now. Okay. So we have low and then this high. We have a higher low, higher high, and then we have a lower low, and then we have a lower high, and of course a lower low here. So let's draw our daily area of interest. Let's put it to the left side. So price has reacted in this area before. If we take all the way, so let's see what it's going to happen now. So on the daily area of the daily time frame, price broke out of that area, but then it came back in. This might have just been news, or maybe just price is ready to flip. So for us to take a buy, we already have the break. So let's go to the 4 hour. The price has come out, retested, and has come out again. So it might be ready to go up, but I do see a lot of gap, so I wouldn't just take it right away. I need kind of some structure to happen here. I need something like this to happen so that we can take it. So right now, I don't think I'm going to chart this because I do see bearish on the weekly. I might be getting ready to flip. I would prefer it to come out of this area like this. That's what I prefer to see. I'm going to put an alert here. I would rather take sells than buys on this. So I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Let's keep the flag on it and let's move on. So Euro GBP. Let's erase everything. Weekly time frame. Okay, so all right, weekly time frame, you can see that price had gone below the EMA line. So we were bearish at that point. We came back to retest and we're having lower lows, but now it looks like price is crossing over and wants to go to the upside. So I would need a deep retracement and like structure made so that I could take take a buy on this. Let's go to the weekly time frame. So same on the weekly time frame. We have this previous high and this last low. And we could take it to the left and you can see that this is a nice area of interest because we have several touch points here where price has kind of like stalled. So, but I would need a retracement. I need price to do this, come out, come back in, and come back out. That's what I need. Okay. And then once it does that, let's go to lower time frame. You know what? Let's draw this again because I don't like how that looks. So price needs to come back into the zone, come back out, retest, and break out again. That's what I would need. And then once it does that, just get our little tool here. Okay, and this would be perfect. So that's what I need. Let's move this alert over here. So we can take it. Let's see, because this might be a really good trade with a high risk reward. Let's see on the daily time frame. There's kind of like choppiness. It's not, I wish it was like trending nicely, but it's kind of not. So I would this would be the safest take profit for me right now. So just to fill up, just to take the trade, take the buys and just fill up these gaps because we need price to come back and touch those areas again. So that looks nice. Let's wait on that and then let's move on. Let's go to OddCAD. Okay. So OddCAD, I've been waiting for the pullback. I don't think I'm going to erase this. Okay, so let's go to the weekly time frame. Let's reset. Okay, so we can see the price is breaking these lows here. We have gone below the EMA line. We came back to retest and we have broke down. We need price to come back up in order to take a sell on this. So right now there's too much of that gap on the weekly time frame. I always need it to retest on the weekly time frame and then I can move on. You see here, same thing on the daily. So we need that to happen. So I'm not going to erase any of my drawings. I'm just going to wait for this to play out. So we're going to keep that there. It's going to be a flag for this week. Let's move on to NZDJPY. Okay, sorry. All right, so NZDJPY. So let's go to the weekly time frame and kind of the same thing that is happening on AutoCAD. Let's reset the chart. We can go ahead and erase the drawing so that you guys can see well. So the weekly time frame, we are below the moving average. We're creating lower lows and lower highs. And so as you can see, price broke these previous lows, came down, and it's retesting on the weekly, which I like. Let's go to the daily time frame. All right, so daily time frame, you can see same thing. So price has gone below these lows all the way down here, and price is now going to go ahead and retest. So let's draw our daily area of interest. We take it from this body candle closure to the last high, just like that. And let's move to the left to see if we have any previous touch points. Let's see. Sorry, it's like since I'm live, it's like lagging. Okay, so we have several touch points here, so this could be a strong area of interest. So we need price to pull back more into the area. So once it does that, okay, so it's doing that now. So once it opens, so this is Sunday. So once the market opens on Sunday, it should start to move up into the zone and then start to reject. So we need to see this nice retracement, pull out of the area of interest, come back in for a retest, and then reject to the downside. And we put our little tool and put it above the EMA and target down here. Okay, so I'm gonna move my alert right around here. And let's just wait for that to play out. So there's a lot of pairs that I had flagged last week that I didn't take a trade on, or I might have missed it, but a lot of it is playing out, not playing out, but like was getting ready last week, so it should play out this week. So let's move on to GBP CAD. So let's erase all our drawings. Let's go to the weekly time frame. All right, so on the weekly, you can see that we are bullish. We have this low, we have this higher high, higher low, higher high, and then price is coming back to retest this previous highs right here. So it looks like, and then gave a nice wick, so it looks like rejection. So it looks like we might be ready to continue up. Let's go to our daily time frame. Okay, so on the daily time frame, you can see that price was bullish. It did flip, but it just flipped for just to retest, not because price is flipping, or hopefully not, but from the weekly time frame, you can see that it was rejection. So this looks like it's just the retest, and let's draw. Okay. And this is a good area of interest because we have several touch points here. So that I like. So we need price to do this on the 4 hour. So to say price already did it, like in the area of interest, it came out, came back in, and it's coming out again. So we need this to break this previous high, come back into retest, and then give the rejection to the upside. Let's go to the 1 hour. So you put our little risk to reward tool, put it right below the structure, and we have a lot of upside on this trade. Let me see, can you guys see it? Okay, perfect. So lots of upside on this trade. Honestly, it might be my favorite one so far for this week. So this was last week. I had charted this and I saw it going to the downside, but because it wasn't a trend trade, it was a reversal trade, I did not take it, but it was a great trade to capitalize on the downside. It was over 200 pips that you could have grabbed, I think even more than that, but I was anticipating it to come back down just to reject and come back up. So hopefully that plays out this week. So let's just wait. Let's go ahead and flag it. And I'm going to move it up on my watch list. Let's get rid of Euro USD. Let's put you down here. So far, this has been my favorite one to chart. So I'm going to put it as the first one. All right, so NZD CAD. This is literally the same thing, guys. Like you go through all the pairs on Sundays and you just chart and you chart the same way and just wait for price to play out for you. Wait for the trades to come to you. Okay, so there's a lot of choppiness on the weekly time frame, but you can see that we're having these lows being taken out, price coming back to retest the EMA. This low should have been lower than this one, so I don't really like that. But then we have the break with this nice candle here. So we might be fine. And then we have a retest. So that's okay. But honestly, I'm not a fan of this choppiness. Let's go to the daily time frame to see how it looks. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we can see that price broke all these previous lows, came below the EMA line, and now we're coming to retest. So let's draw our daily area of interest. Let me measure this. This might be a big one. Let me see. Okay, that's not terrible. Let's make it smaller. Let's go to this previous low right here. We can make it tighter. So this last high. That's a little bit aggressive, but let me see. Okay. Okay, 60 pips. That works for me. So let's see on the lower time frame on the 4-hour. I make it just a tad bit bigger right here. Perfect. Now I like how that area of interest looks. No, what did I do? Go back. Perfect. And let's get rid of this. Okay, so we need price to come back into this zone like this, come back out, retest, and reject. Literally that. Let's put a risk reward tool. So we'll put it at the break of the neckline. We put it at the EMA or at this previous structure point. You can, if you want to be more conservative, when you put your stop loss, you can put it above the wick. If you want it tighter, you can put it right around here. I'm kind of conservative. I like my big stop loss because it has saved me so many times. So I'm going to keep it right there. And I'm going to target these levels right here. So that's a great trade. Let's put our alert up here. Let's flag this. So there's a lot of flags right now, but I'm going to take out what is not my favorite. Okay, not Euro USD, Euro JPY. Okay. So weekly time frame, we're consolidating. I don't like that. I'm gonna box this, and once we get out of here and we're trending again, we'll take a trade on this. But right now, that consolidation is not what I like, so I'm just gonna move on. We have enough pairs already flagged. We don't need to add anything that looks like this. All right, so USD Chef. So USD Chef, you can see that we were trying to flip bullish, right? We have this low, but then we have up here where we have a higher low, and then we have this higher high. It just kind of went a little bit over this previous high, but then boop, with all the news that came out, we flipped to the downside, but we will need retracement to happen. So since we don't have that, we have major gap to the downside. We need price to literally come back up here. Let's turn alert here. We need price to come back up here to even mess with this. So I'm not interested there. Let's move on. GBP Chef. All right, so weekly time frame. Kind of the same thing happening where we were consolidating and we completely broke out. So we need price to come back to this area. So let's put an alert and move on. Okay, GBP JPY. I boxed it out because it's been eating garbage for weeks now. So on the weekly time frame, we're consolidating. It kind of broke out. Daily time frame, we have all this. No, let's move on. GBP USD. Weekly time frame. We were below the EMA, so we're creating lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. But then now we flipped. and price flipped over, retest the EMA line. I don't like how this looks. Okay, not a fan how GBP USD looks, so I'm just gonna move on. Okay, Euro odd. I think I've just been waiting on the retest for so long. Yeah, waiting on the retest of this on the weekly time frame. So let's move on. And then USD CAD. Okay, so USD CAD finally came back. So it looks like we're retesting our daily area of interest from last week. So we're here. Now we need price to do its thing now that we're here. So price needs to come out of the zone, come back to retest, and come back out. That's what we need. Am I going to flag? I'm going to flag this. We would take. Yeah, so we need price completely flip to the bullish side. So right now it's on the bear side. So not interested until it flips. So I'm gonna flag it just to watch it, but it's not. If it does that, it will be fine. Let's put our tool here because there's definitely nice upside potential. So let's just wait for the shift of structure to happen on the lower time frame. And when you're waiting on the shift of structure, you can always go down to the 15-minute time frame, which I do. But if you're not too sure, 15-minute time frame is aggressive. If you're not too sure, just wait for the hour candle to close. And sometimes if I have to wait for the hour candle to close, I'll wait for the hour to close and then the next 15 minutes to give me like an extra confirmation. And then I'll get into the trade. So that's USD CAD. And I think the last one is Euro odd. Okay. So Euro odd, we've been waiting on this retest. I don't even think it's going to happen now. So let's just, whether it comes back here or not, doesn't matter. Let's wait for it to create structure and then we can continue in the direction it decides to go in. Okay, so literally you guys, that's it. Really, really easy. I go through the same pairs every single week. I flag what looks like it might be a potential setup. I put my alert on it, and then that's it. I execute once I have the proper entry signals. I need the shift of structure. I'm only entering on certain candles. So if we're going up, I want to see like a bullish engulfing or a nice hammer. If we're going down, I want to see an inverted hammer or a bearish engulfing. And I like to see price do the shift of structure and flip over or under the EMA. So that I do look for every time I take a trade. In certain instances, I will put a Fibonacci if I feel like let's do one here, right? So I'll take it from this previous low to the high. And then, so here in this trade, it looks like it just hit the 0.50 level and then continued up. So for certain cases that does work. I like to use the Fibonacci as an extra confluence, not just my whole like strategy. It's an extra confluence. So yeah, so that's it. Very, very simple. Let's just go through them one more time to kind of look at to see which ones are my favorites. So GBP CAD I put first because I think it's the cleanest. There's not a lot of like choppiness, not too wicky. So we're just waiting for price to shift on the lower time frame. We need the shift of structure. So we need price to come out, retest, and come out again, right? So we need body candle closures above this previous wick so that we can, and you can see we have flipped. We're not under the EMA line. We're getting over. So this might be ready to set up between tonight or tomorrow. So we're just waiting on that one. That one's my favorite. MDD CAD, same. It's very clean. I think we have a strong area of interest here because there's a lot of consolidation in that. So I hope price will come back to respect it. Once price comes back up, we need price to come out, retest, and reject. And we could take it. So I like that one. I'm going to keep that 1 second. USD JPY. You know, I like JPY pairs, but JPY pairs just eat so much garbage. So let's see, because if it does pull back into this area and retest and all that, it's just, is it going to continue and how long is it going to continue for? Just because it's a little choppy. So we'll just wait. And on this, you know, on this trade, we can put a fib. So this previous high. So this one down here. Okay, so where we put our alert lines up with the gold, the golden zone on the Fibonacci. That's the 0.50 and the 0.618. So it does line up. So that would be extra confirmation. So if price comes to this area, all we need is to see the rejection. And we can take the trade. So we want to see the rejection. We need to shift the structure. Price to stay below the EMA line. And make sure we're getting wicks up and body candle closures to the downside. And we will be ready to take this trade to the downside. We'll keep that there. GP and ZD. Let me go up so that you guys can see. I think I'm going to take this one off because I don't really know what it's doing. So I'm going to take this one off. And I'm going to take the alert off so that I don't go back in here and take the trade and it's not even ready. I don't want to break any rules this week. Okay. And then NZD USD, kind of the same thing. Like I want to see bearish, but it might just be flipping. Okay, let's leave that there. Let's put it lower on our scale. Euro GBP, so this would be great. It just needs to retest all the way down here, and I really don't know if that's going to happen. Let's put that down. Odd CAD, same thing. We need price to come back all the way here, come out, retest, and come back out. I don't know if that's really going to happen. Maybe it's not going to happen this week. Maybe it's not going to do the deep pullback. I really want price to come back into this purple zone. That's my daily area of interest. I want it to come back in and start to create structure to the downside because there's a lot of gap. So I wouldn't want to on this, I wouldn't even try like a Fibonacci. I really want price to come all the way back. So I'm still going to keep that there. NZD JPY. Okay, so this one looks good. I just don't like that this low was higher than this low. So I don't know if we're breaking structure. So this I'm going to be very careful with because I don't like this. I don't like we're having this higher high and then this higher low on the 4 hour. We need price to shift back down and we have shifted up. So let's take it off. Let's remove. Okay, so right now I'm just kind of I have a lot of flags and I'm just narrowing it down to the best setup possible. I don't want to take a loss over something stupid. Okay, I already did odd CAD, USD CAD. Okay, so USD CAD looks like it might be ready to set up between the beginning of the week. So we just need price to create a little bit more structure. These 3 candles are not going to cut it. We need price to really come and start breaking this previous high to have body candle closures over that wick, come back to retest, and then take it to the upside. So that's what we need. And I'm going to put a little alert right here around the wicks. Okay, perfect. And that's it. So we're good to go. We're good to go for the week. We have many options. So we should be able to have a great trade this week. All right, so I have 2 people watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Does anybody have any questions? I'll be more than happy to answer them right now. So my favorite, I only have like one setup and the fib confirmation. I love when I have my setup, which is price breaking out of the daily area of interest, retesting it, and then taking the break. I love that, but I also love when I have a Fibonacci confirmation. Um, it's, I think we can call that a setup. It's just, I just trade price action. So I just follow what price is doing. Is this the same way you trade, or do you have like a different setup, or do you trade like I like a weekly and daily bias, and then I just need everything to flip to that bias on the lower time frames for me to take it? But do you like chart on the lower time frame? Can you tell me if my video was lagging too much? Yeah, I have a feeling that this week is going to go great. Hopefully news is not crazy, and whatever news comes out, hopefully we're on the right side of it, because it has been a bit wild. Last week, Euro USD was in like some heavy drawdown, but I really stuck my guns and I knew that it was going to play out, and thank God it did. Thank God it did. But that's also the thing. Like when you're in trade and there's like a lot of outside noise, it's hard to like stick to your trade without being like pushed in different directions. So just sticking with what you know and not messing, sometimes I like to move my stop loss and like have more of like a dynamic risk. If I see that price is hitting certain targets, move my stop loss and start risking less. But right now, I don't even think it's the time to do that. I think it's kind of a time to just like risk low, be conservative, make sure you have all your confluences, and just keep your stops and everything where it's supposed to be. Like don't mess with it, because you might lose and you don't need to. You were probably correct. Okay, good. So just very similar to me. Literally my daily area of interest is just like the last high and the last low, which we can call that support and resistance in a lot of cases. I actually like when there's a lot of like support and resistance in between my daily area of interest, so that I feel like it's more like price will come back to it and reject it. It will be a lot more difficult for it to actually break that area if there's a lot of like resistance in between my daily area of interest, if you get what I'm saying. So kind of the same thing. I draw literally what I draw on the daily time frame is support and resistance, but I just grab like the previous high and the low to make my little box. Okay, so yeah, so that was it. This is my first live, so I hope you enjoyed. I want to do this every single Sunday where I chart live, and please like the live if you already haven't. Thank you guys for watching, and I love you all. Stay safe. We're going to have a great, profitable week. I can't wait to hear about your wins next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.